Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Cindy and the Positively Altered podcast. I am a chiropractic internist and nutritionist. And here on the podcast, we love to discuss all things health related, whether it's physical, spiritual, emotional, or whatever else we can come up with. And today is going to be absolutely no exception. I am excited for my next guest. She was actually a referral from a previous guest. It is his wife. And it's interesting because she's got a story that's very similar and runs parallel to mine. She is a speaker, an author, a coach, and she's in the middle of rebranding herself, but mostly she is a warrior and a ray of light in talking about how we can walk through things a little bit differently when we're challenged. So grab something to drink, a comfy place to sit. We're going to take a quick listen to some sponsors who are really important to me, and we are going to be right back with today's guest on the Positively Altered podcast.
Hello, my name is Heather Lord, and I am the COO of Professional Health Products. Cutting corners is an all too common practice in the dietary supplement industry. When my father founded Professional Health Products, he sourced the cleanest, most biologically active ingredients from around the globe. Today, that commitment remains, which is why the finest healthcare practitioners, like Dr. Cindy, have trusted us for more than 40 years. We oversee the entire process in our manufacturing facility, from sourcing and formulation to manufacturing and labeling. Today, we offer over 300 unique products that can be tailored to the nutritional and homeopathic needs of each individual. Most recently, we launched a proprietary genetic test, allowing our practitioners to get even more dialed in to their patients' health. To learn more about Professional Health Products, please talk to your practitioner or visit our website at phpltd.com.
Today, your life is going to be altered. I'm Dr. Cindy.
Welcome to Infinity. We have worked hard to create an electronic claims website that is simple and user-friendly. This is the public side. You can log into your personal web portal here. This is your dashboard. You can personalize it to your liking here. Our main focus has been to allow you to submit and edit claims as easy as possible. You will find our claims editor and claims processing is simple to use and straightforward. Our quick action bar is where you can find your most important information. Most of these icons will take you directly to the claims the number represents. You can easily view if you have any messages in your inbox of any unread alerts by looking for these blue numbers. To view the rest of our training videos to get the most of your Infinity experience, click this icon. We hope you find this web portal simple and easy to use. Thanks for letting us serve you.
I'm Dr. Cindy. Who wouldn't want to join me for the Positively Altered podcast? Welcome back to the Positively Altered podcast. Today's guest is an amazing woman who is a speaker, an author, and a coach. And those are three really hard things to master. And I believe she's doing them really well. We're going to find out today. Welcome to the podcast, Dana Lyons.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. So who showed up today? The speaker, the author, the coach, all of the above?
Just Dana.
Just Dana.
A little bit of all of it may come out, but you're really just getting me.
I love that. Just Dana. I'll be just Cindy, and we'll see what happens.
Well, don't you think that's when the best conversations happen?
I do, because those titles tend to define us, I believe.
Yeah.
And
we can take all the hats off. Speaking of hats, by the way, you probably can't see, but I have my hat right there. I just want to thank you. My Positively Altered hat. I love camo, and I loved this hat. I don't really have many good hats anymore. So I was like, I loved it. So I don't know if you saw, I posted it because I was so excited to get it. So we could take all those hats off. I'm not even wearing that one today. So.
Okay, perfect. And I've got such a big fat head that I actually have a really hard time with hats because you're just not cute.
I hear you.
You know, I think sometimes when you've got a really small, petite, just beautiful head, hats work better, but
I don't. But
okay. So you know what? My hats are on the shelf too. We'll just leave them there.
Yeah. Okay.
I love that. Okay. I do want to talk a little bit about the things you do though, right? The speaker, author, coach. I'm always curious in that category. Do you have a favorite one?
No, but It depends on what I am. It's really in the moment and what I'm either speaking or writing about. I'm not a natural writer. Some people are just really, they flow. They know they're good at that natural. I'm a Jersey girl. I'm grammar's not my thing. Editors can do all that. No, it's not. So that's not a natural gift of mine. I write to tell my story so I could help encourage and inspire others in theirs. I think there's power in story. Speaker, I have had a battle over my voice my entire life. So these things that I do actually are probably my biggest weaknesses, if I could say it that way. Do you?
I love that. Yeah. Do I like one better than the other?
For you.
You know what? Yeah, I love speaking. The writing I'm with you. Like grammar is not my, So I'll share with you a funny story. I have 3 kids. My youngest actually just started college, and I believe it was junior year. He had to write a paper, that was 3, 4, 5, 10 pages, whatever. It doesn't matter how long it was, right? It was this paper. And he came home with red marks all over the first draft from the teacher, and he had done a terrible job. And I said, give that to me. I'm going to help you. So I rewrote the entire paper for him, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I flunked it. I couldn't tell the teacher to complain, right, that he flunked my kid, because it was really me that he was flunking. And it was in that moment that it just confirmed for me that writing is not really my gift either. But just like you, there was a story to tell. So tell me a little bit about your story and why it was so important to put it on a piece of paper for people to read.
So I do have 3 books out. I'm working on 2 other ones right now, one of which is my cancer story. And like I said, there's always a battle over my voice. Couldn't really speak as a child. By the way, the book that I read all weekend long, bought it, read the entire thing. I've got pages flipped, notes taken. You and I was like, wow, I feel like I'm reading kind of my twin, which is just hysterically funny because we have so much in common. And you say in that book, this, basically the power of a story. Our stories matter. And I love authenticity. And Cindy, this is what I love that you said. This is my story. I don't want to alter, I'm not going to change any of it. And if it offends you, I encourage you to lean in, right? You say that. I love that.
You do. Yeah.
I love your humor. So I think back in 2003, so my parents, I come from a divorce home, live with my mom. My dad lived in the next town, so I saw him every other weekend. Could not speak. Nothing felt safe, right? I didn't trust anybody. 2003, my marriage fell apart. And it was in that moment that God said to me, Dana, do you want to get well? I was a mess. I was a trainer. I was a nutritional counselor. I was a manager at a gym at the time. I was broken and I struggled with the eating disorder the worst at that point in time. I couldn't speak or anything. So when God asked me, hey, do you want to get well? I was like, are you, whoa, what kind of question is that? Long story short, I finally said yes. It was like, I do. You know why? Because my kids need me. Mm-hmm. And he walked me through what I call a 2-year boot camp of getting what feels like your whole life together, but really it was just the layer at the time. It's like one layer because we're on this journey. I think in America, it's like, do these 5 things and you arrived. And it's not the arrival, it's a journey. And when you can take that mindset off and go, hey, I'm not arriving, I'm going through it. And it's just continual. That's when it happened for me. And so Patrick and I, when our marriage fell apart, we walked into, we're not going to get divorced. This would have been my second, by the way. We're not going to get divorced, but we have a lot of repair to do. Mm. And at the time, I thought it was all me. When we walked into we actually signed up for a facilitator training course or program. And we were the crisis couple. How are we going to lead a group? Like, we're just trying to get our life back together. And in that moment, I just dumped. It was like, if I'm not going to hell and I got a second chance at life, well, shoot, I'm just going to put it out there because I so just wanted to get well. And I was at this place of really going, why am I the way that I am? And why do I do the things that I do? I just didn't understand myself because there was this cry in me, in my heartache going, I swear I'm really good. I really can be a good person. And yet I make all these kind of like stupid decisions. One of which was men. Like, why do I find all the jerks? Anyway, we repaired it. And what I learned about then was in what brought me most shame and opening up, telling the worst parts of my life for me to get well, actually gave the courage to other people hearing my story to go, I've never told anybody this, but here's my part of my story I've never shared.
Mm-hmm.
And so I learned the power of voice then, just using it, because I think our stories inspire others in a step of courage.
You said something really fascinating to me that I tend to preach quite a bit, and it was the why versus the what, right? I think it's really easy when we tell our stories too. It's, I'm broken, I did this, I didn't do that, here's what's wrong. And then there's a lack of understanding. When we really get to the why you did what you did, or made the choice, or said what you said, or didn't do something.
Yep.
And it's that concept of understanding, I think, that gets us to the healing place.
Absolutely. Because you're up, right? Yeah, I know you and I, we're believers of wholeness health. Right? It's one thing I picked up with you. It's, to me, it's all connected: spirit, soul, body, right? It's our mind plays a big part in it. And that why helped me dig up roots. So I wasn't continually like trying to pick a weed and it just keeps coming back. A lot of weeds.
And I love that you said, so there was this 2-year boot camp, right? But it doesn't stop at the end of the 2 years, does it?
No, it's when I say 2-year boot camp, it was like the initial intense, let's get rid of the cracks and let's dismantle and let's start the rebuilding. And it's a foundation. Then you got all this building and you're always then remodeling. Always. It like never ends. And I'm going through like just different things now where it's like, wow, I thought I went through this already. It's like, yeah, well, you went through that layer at the time that you could handle it.
Right.
Yeah.
There's always a lesson we still need to learn, I believe, right? So sometimes things come back at us because we didn't get it perfect. And I don't even know what that word means, right?
Yeah.
But we didn't get it perfect for us in that situation where we didn't have to go through and learn the lesson again, right? Do you find that most of the people that you work with and you coach through some of these things too, you know, they want that magic pill, right? They're okay, I just told you why, Dana. Like I spewed it out and I told you why, so now it should just be better. And I wonder how many people sort of expect that to be a quick fix as well once they dump.
Well, I think I'd love working with people who are totally at rock bottom because they're finally open to go, now I'm really actually ready to see and hear and lean in, forced because you are now so humbled and broken. Broken actually became my favorite word because I think it's a precious gift when we're finally broken because it causes us to become more open. Otherwise, here's what happens. You know, in the gym, I find women the most frustrating. I found them to be the most frustrating to work with. Maybe you do too, is they just go, yeah, I have a wedding in 4 weeks and I have 30 pounds to lose. And can you help me by Sunday? And you're like, or they have some kind of issue and they're like, yeah, my marriage is falling apart. And yeah, it's a mess, but like him and he does this and it was his fault. And it was, and you're like, let's just look in the mirror for a second because we can't change him. Your marriage may not make it. And that was my story. It's like we want to point at all these things and yet we're just not trained to look within, I don't think.
I agree. And it's easy to point the finger, but it doesn't correct anything, right? It just allows us to assess blame so that we don't assume responsibility for our own choices.
Sure. And it's not that those things aren't true. Yeah, he was a jerk. Yeah, he's mean. Yeah, he's abusive. Yeah, yes. And now what?
Right.
You know?
Do you find that a lot of people then also assume responsibility for that, right? So if you're in a relationship where somebody's not nice, abusive, negligent, I was in one where I felt he was emotionally negligent, right? Mm-hmm. Emotionally abusive to a certain degree, but then well, that must have been my fault and I allowed it and I gave permission and I accepted and right. And then it still comes back to this inappropriate blame, right? Versus the question of, why would I permit this in my relationship? Why do I tolerate it? Why do I find myself attracted to that? That's a great question.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every time. And that's like codependency 101, right? It's like, and I just recently heard this not too long ago. And it was like, that is absolutely true that women really have been trained. We are the emotional sponges of society. Mm-hmm. And there's this beautiful gift since turning 50, going through cancer, going through menopause, that I used to hear the 50-plus-year-olds going, because I just don't care anymore. And I finally found my voice. And you know what? No. And I went, you know what? Yeah, it's getting well and going, you know what? No, I don't have to deal with that anymore. And it's giving ourselves permission. I didn't give myself permission. I carried a lot of the blame for a lot of the stuff that happened to me.
Mm-hmm. Do you think, like in your experience, do you think it was generational? I wonder, like I think about the messages I give my children, and I hope I'm teaching them different so that and I think they have a voice. I do. I think my kids have a better voice than I did at their age.
Mm-hmm.
But, why do we have to wait till we're 50? Where does it come from? Or in your experience, where do you think it came from that you felt you didn't have one?
Well, I think it really started when I was little. I mean, my parents divorced, and I really believe that kids of divorce, I'm talking general here. I think kids of divorce divorce to me is a war, which it becomes this power struggle. And I think kids of divorce are the wounded soldiers of divorce. They're in the trenches. My mom used to be like, your father didn't pay me. Make sure he gives you a check. And my dad used to say, I'm not calling you because your mom will answer the phone. It's not my problem. Figure it out and put your big pants on. I just want to see my dad, and I just want to see my mom, and just leave me out of it. And yet it doesn't. And I learned early on, I can't talk to you about mom and I can't talk to you about dad, because here I am as I adore my dad. So it started then. It was just, and then I became the protector. I stepped in the role as a protector. I was protecting my dad. I was protecting my mom. Then it was me and my brother. So I became the protector. That was my family role. Don't say a word. You just hold down the fort. And so it started then. And I just learned that then became my dysfunctional way of living. Survival mode.
Yeah, it's interesting. So that word fascinates me, surviving, right? Mm-hmm. And I want to bring us back a little. Do you mind sharing a little bit about your cancer story in terms of like when you found out, what it was like?
Yeah.
Give me, I know we could probably talk about that for hours, but just
hours.
Yeah.
Hours. Because wholeness health, here's where I really, connected with you on this is you say somewhere in here about the gift. Mm-hmm. It's a gift. So here it was 2023. I was feeling really great. I love the gym, health nut. I love the gym. Wholeness health is my thing. Life was good. I worked for a publishing agency at the time, just temporarily, really. And, life was good. January came around, and our generation has always been taught, like menopause, hormone replacement, don't even think about it. You will have cancer if you take it. It's just, and I didn't give a lot of attention to it. It was just like, okay, don't do that whole thing. But then everything that's coming out lately, I'm now I've been in this perimenopause stage, what I just call the chaos. And, I was going in and out of that. And because my grandmother on my mom's side had ovarian cancer, and my grandmother, my dad's mom, had breast cancer, cancer's in our family. And I just stayed on top of my health. I'm very much, every time I'm in a doctor's office, I'm asking a million questions. I'm fascinated by the body. Why? Because it tells me a lot of what's going on. And where's my mindset? Where's my heart? What am I not dealing with? And all the things. And so I ask a million questions. So I went to the doctor. I was like, okay, you keep saying that I'm about to go through menopause. You're really close. She said, you're really close. And all the older ladies would say to me, oh yeah, just, you're going to get less and less periods. Well, mine were getting more and more. Matter of fact, it'd be like 3 weeks on, 2 days off, 2 weeks on, a week off. Well, for Pete's sake, I was like, well, when is this actually going to get less and less? And she'd go, I don't know. Some women get this spurt of like a lot of them. All right, good. Well, I got to be close to it. So I just said, you know what? I don't want to be ignorant. Educate me. So I go to my doctor, ask my OB, educate me, tell me what I'm doing all the research, but I want to hear from my doctor. What are you saying about it? What do I need to know? Because I don't want to be ignorant. I don't want to live in fear, but I want to be wise with my decision. And I know it's my decision. And so she said, yeah, long story short, you're a candidate. I think you're good, but you know the drill. You're about due for your screenings. Let's schedule it. We'll do the PAP. I've had 12 years where I've had some abnormal PAPs. 12 years. I've had biopsies along the way. I've had pretty traumatic ones too, that I was like, I'd rather have 10 children than go through that. And so I was like, okay. And she goes, and it got to the point where she'd let me get an ultrasound before I got the biopsy, because then the biopsy would come back and be like, everything's fine. So I was like, do I really need it? So she let me do the ultrasound. She goes, you know the drill. We schedule everything. It comes in the patient portal now. I'm like, I know this is what it's going to show. And I said, yeah, it's going to come back up normal. Then it's going to come back fine. Yep. Schedule it. We did it. Came back exactly as planned. Abnormal. All right. Everything's scheduled. I'll get the ultrasound. And then I got the phone call. And I'm telling you, I have felt the best I've felt in a long time, besides this really inconvenience of just having a period longer and hot flashes. And so the doctor called me, and it was a different OB that called me, and she goes, "Hey, Dana, yes, so it came back, blah, 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 blah." And she goes, "So I'm going to send you over to oncology. I want you to see the gynecologist, oncologist, because I don't think this is going to be a big concern. I think we're going to take care of it really quickly." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." The scheduler's going to call, we'll get a schedule. Scheduler calls, and she goes through it, and I go, "Not for nothing, but you said that word, and doctor said that word. Like, what is that word?" She goes, "Oh, that's cervical cancer." And I was like, "Okay, wait, what?" I said, "So, okay, are you saying that I have cervical cancer?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Well, why wouldn't my doctor just say that?" And she goes, "Dana, I'm so sorry. Doctors don't really, they forget that that you guys don't know the medical terms, because they say it like in a blip. I didn't really hear it." Anyway, she said it. I was like, "Oh, okay." I hang up the phone. I now have to go down and tell my family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they actually did find cancer. And I know my husband's going to freak. My mom can tend to emotionally respond. My mom lives with us. My daughters were there. So I had to go downstairs, and I said, "All right, they found cancer." And of course they were emotional. And then my husband took off. And tell you the truth, when I first heard it, I was really I really didn't feel much of anything. And then it was then after that, for about 24 hours, I was rattled.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how I was told.
Interesting. So did you go through anything in your mind about the history of all the abnormal ones where they just said you're fine and clearly something was probably not fine? Was
Absolutely.
there any anger or, retrospectively, what were you thinking?
Yeah. Holistically, I can see all the connect the dots. You talk about that in the book, how you go, "Oh my gosh, of course I got it." So yes, I did see that. But I also knew I didn't want to die, and I knew that there was life after cancer, even if there was stage 4. That was my diagnosis. And thankfully it wasn't stage 4, but that was one of those. It was like I was rattled for 24 hours. And as a coach, I then felt my own because what happens is when you're told you have cancer, you always think, oh, like, okay, we just think death sentence as a society. And as a coach, I felt my own chaos, because within that 24 hours, you're hit with just a wave of your life flashes before you. Was that my last Christmas with my family? Was that last? I didn't go to a family reunion in 20 years. Was that my last one that I did last year? And I didn't know it, but you see all those pinpoints that kind of connect along the way. I was rattled. And then I had to go, wait a minute. I literally did this out loud. Wait a minute. Wait a second, Dana. Time out here. Time out. Do you honestly think that this is the end of your story? And I went, and I said, "What do you know is true, Dana? What do you know is true?" And I went, well, and I had challenged myself. What do I really know is true in the moment? Because right now it's like I'm not done being a mom and a wife, and life's not done. It was like this came out of left field. And I just said, there's life after cancer. I know that to be true because there's plenty of people with a testimony to tell the story. I've heard the stories. I've walked along somebody else's journey with them during this time. That I know is true. And I also know that there is life after cancer, even if it's stage 4. I have friends who've been through that. That's true. There is a life after menopause. I know that because every woman who's lived through it, and we all will if we live long enough, that I know is true. And so I had to come back to what I know is true to stop the chaos. And I describe chaos. It's like a whirlpool, and as a kid, you do the whirlpool and you just step in the pool and it just takes you. Well, that's what I see. And the best way to stop the whirlpool is just go one step in the other direction, right? And the flow kind of stops. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting, when we started this conversation, and I love that you're just Dana, but, I introduced you as speaker, author, right, coach. What I didn't say was cancer survivor. And yet you and I are in that camp, right? We belong to that club. And I would love your take on that word, because when I read that, and it's really hard for me to actually say, like, I don't introduce myself. Hey, I'm Dr. Cindy and I'm a cancer survivor. Like, it's not part of my spiel, right? But it irks might be a really weird word, but it kind of irks me a little bit because again, like I've survived a million things. I mean, I'm surviving life, right? Like I'm standing here, actually I'm sitting here talking to you, right? And metaphorically standing, and everything I've gotten through, I've come out on the other side of, right? So we really survived. So this whole idea that we've survived cancer, I think puts us in this different classification, which may or may not be fair as a comparison to other people who have either survived worse things or less worse things or little things or cancer multiple times. And I'd love your perspective on that statement, cancer survivor.
You are touching on probably one of my biggest passions, because there is a difference between surviving and thriving. Totally different. I actually wrote about this in my first book. I call it my rookie book because I didn't think it was possible. You say that was a dream, right? This was a huge moment for me years prior to even going through cancer. Is I was going through this. I was working with a trainer with I have 5 kids. My 4th child was going through with a trainer, and I was like, I'll just go alongside her and we'll do it together. And what I didn't know is that I was about to hit a very big revelation for me. And he asked these questions. It actually had to do with the why. Why are you doing this? And okay, why are you doing it? And you go through the 7 layers of why, right? So I did that. And I had this like, oh my gosh, thriving and surviving are literally parallel train tracks, but they don't end up in the same location. They don't. You could survive a lot of things. And I said to my trainer, I've survived my entire life and I'm getting off this train and I am getting on the thriving jet plane because it goes in a different place. My grandmother survived the war camp, but she never knew how to thrive. Never. And I learned then you can thrive, you can survive a lot of things. There's my domestic violence survivor. I've survived other things. We can survive through a lot and never get to a place of thriving. And people who thrive, survivors, to me, it's very defensive, right? I can make it through. And it's something to be very proud of. There's nothing to take away from that name, that word, survivor. But it can become a negative when it goes beyond the season that it's in if I could say it that way, because you can stay stuck in that I've survived and you just like grin and bear it. We're going to take the punches. I'm going to survive this boxing match. And I survived. But the thrivers to me, which was different to me, was survivors know when to say no, when they're capable and have enough room and enough space in which to say yes to people, the season that they're in, what they have room for. You say this in your book. I learned this in my cancer. One of the things that helped me thrive through it was I had to learn, I don't have bandwidth for you right now, because right now, this is where all my energy has to go to this. And I knew that. That's the difference. Survivor, I have other people in my life who have cancer right now, and they are more focused on taking care of everybody else. And to me, that's a surviving mindset and choice. And they're so similar. You can, like the barrier between them is so thin that sometimes you think you're thriving, but you're really just surviving. And it's like this. Does that make sense?
No, it makes total sense. And the first thing that came to my mind where I think people will have the challenges is also differentiating between thriving and selfishness.
Absolutely.
And right? They feel, oh, well, I'm being selfish. I like the word self-preserving a little bit better than selfish, right? It has a positive spin. We have to preserve ourselves because really at the end of the day, how do we be there for somebody else if we're not in the right place to give them, the best part of us? And if we're surviving and not thriving, I think the best part of us gets squashed pretty quickly.
Absolutely. Because we are more focused, right? To me, it comes back to that way that we've been taught what living is, where most women deny themselves, deny, even when it'll take you to the grave. Because you just go, I can't think of me because what are they going to do when I'm gone? Oh, and they still need me. And you're like, for a second, they actually need you to be really selfish right now.
Right.
Self-preserving. Right?
Right.
I need you to tell me no, Mom.
Right.
Because I want you here for the next however many years.
But I think that's the fallacy too. And there's going to be people up there with what I'm going to say that are going to probably get very upset with me for this. But really at the end of the day, They don't need you. They want you. There's a difference.
Absolutely.
Right? As human beings, we are very capable. I don't want to leave. I mean, I didn't want to leave this earth. I actually have 3 adult children. I still don't want to leave. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I took my very last breath today, they will be okay.
Absolutely.
They will. And I think that's where we also get ourselves into trouble, is this misconcept of need versus want. My children want me to still live most days. I'm sure there's moments. Don't need you today, Mom. Don't want you today. But, overall, I'm sure that I'm pretty confident that they would still want me around. Right. But need me? No. I've done my job. And even if I haven't, there's other people that can help them in areas if there's really a need. And, we got to get out of that headspace, I think, of, almost this, again, this is going to sound nasty, but almost elevating us to that point of need where it's not true. So internally, reflect and go, okay, what do I need to self-preserve to thrive through that experience? And it doesn't have to be cancer, right? It can be anything that's perceived as negative or positive. Sometimes even the positive stuff is really hard to walk through.
Oh, for sure. And it's all stresses on the body, good and bad. So how do you go through it?
Right. Yeah. And I love that. I always tell people, marriage is good stress, bad stress. Exercise is good stress, bad stress. Kids are good stress, bad stress. Like, the body doesn't understand the difference, right? It's all perceived as a stressful event, regardless of how your brain is interpreting it. And we have to figure out the tools, to walk that walk. Were there certain important tools that you learned through that, Dana, that you now insist that you carry with you for the rest of your days, that you just won't compromise on?
It certainly drives home, focus on your priorities, focus on what is important to you, focus on what matters, because we could get so distracted by the little details that aren't even important. It's distraction, right? That was really important to me. Or that is one lesson I've learned, is just keep the main thing, the main thing, I have to say that, the first year of cancer, although I really don't want to do that again, and it was a gift, and I've learned a lot of things in there, which I'm writing about now. The second year was harder for me. I'm now in my second year. And actually it was harder because there's a stat, and I don't know the stat, but it's some crazy high number, 80 to 90 some percent, whatever it is, that of cancers are lifestyle, not genetic. And it's what I learned a lot in my own life. A lot of my journey that I've gone through. A lot of it is not just the world can tend to think it's all the physical stuff, right? I want to drop 20, I'm carrying extra 20 pounds. I got to go to the gym. I have to watch my weight. I got to drink my water, and I have to work out. We could focus on the physical, but in my journey, I had back surgery and all these different things. It always came back to working on my own soul, taking care of your whole self. And we don't emphasize that enough. And so my mindset, how I perceived, huge. The stuff I carried, the stuff I wouldn't vocalize. And going through this second year of cancer, I've learned using my voice more than I ever have, to even just be vulnerable and say, even just to my husband, I'm afraid. I'm pissed. Anger is a really easy one for me, just to go, I'm flipping pissed right now. And just let me be, this is where I am right now, and not try to protect, not try to cover, and not try to push anything down. And I have to say, the second year has been harder than actually the first year.
It's interesting. So is that a good place when you coach people to start, is to just honor the emotion that you're feeling?
Yeah. And I do a lot of honor your own voice. It's your voice, and it's no less than somebody else's. And how do you come to a place of giving somebody space to be like, you are right there, and that's where you are, and that's okay, while I'm here and sharing that. And it's okay. We don't have to change each other, because we can't anyway. So let's not get distracted in trying to do that, and let's just be.
Yeah, I love that. It's all okay, and just be.
It's what keeps you present.
I love that.
Yeah.
I don't know, Dana, I think this is a great place to just take a breath and let everybody think about those couple statements. We're going to take a quick commercial break and then be right back. I want to ask you just some fun rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Answers you give me. Ready for that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we'll be right back with Dana Lyons. This is your weekly dose of Dr. Cindy, the Positively Altered podcast. Stop. Hit that follow button now and spread the love with Positively Altered. Welcome back to the Positively Altered podcast. I am your host, Dr. Cindy, and I am here with Dana Lyons. We got really serious, and now we're going to have a little bit of fun. You ready, Dana?
I'm ready.
All right. I got a bunch of questions. Whatever first comes to mind. What is one place on earth you've never been you would love to see?
Italy.
Oh,
My husband, when I had cancer, we were like, he said, where do you want to go? And this is in your rearview mirror.
yes.
And I said, on a beach somewhere. And he
Yes.
said, how about Italy, Greece? I was like, I'm in. Anywhere
Okay.
with you, I'm in.
Is the trip planned?
Yes. Well, it's not planned. We're in the making of planning. Yeah.
Nice. Where are you going in Italy?
Well, we don't know.
Okay.
We may have a pivot. So he wants to take me to castles in England. And it's part of my story. So we may do that instead. And we're still going to Italy, but.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Italy is one of my favorite places. That's why I asked. So
Oh.
even offline, we can discuss cities if you go.
Love it.
I'll tell you, at least my faves, they might not be your faves, but that's okay.
Okay.
All right. What is your biggest guilty pleasure?
Ooh, my biggest guilty pleasure. Oh gosh. I hate to say this, but if I eat a cookie, that's really I feel really guilty and it feels really good. That's my little thing. Bread and pizza. I'm a Jersey girl, so
Bread and
probably
pizza.
bread
Oh,
though.
see,
But I do like a
Chicago, we're
cookie.
going to have an argument over pizza.
All right, we'll agree, disagree yeah.
Okay. Let's not even go there because I really like where the conversation was going and
Yeah.
I'm not interested in making a fight. What is the
Yeah.
weirdest food combo you put together?
I like to put a lot of my stuff on my salads, so I could put lasagna on it.
Okay.
And my husband thinks that's really gross, but I'm like, anything with greens is good by me.
Absolutely. So I will tell you, when I first went gluten and dairy free, I used to put salad on my pizza. I used to get a gluten-free pizza crust, and instead of the cheese and everything, I would just put my salad on top.
Yeah, I love it. I had arugula on mine this weekend.
But it was good.
Yeah.
All right. If you had to swap lives with a cartoon character, who would you switch with?
Oh, wow, that's a question. Cartoon. Well, I only really watched the Flintstones, but I don't really relate to Wilma. I don't know, maybe the Jetsons, because everything was pretty convenient. I hate cooking. So the fact that I could just be like, hey, give me a salad with, whatever, and it just comes out. I guess I'd go there.
That's a beautiful thing. I actually think we're becoming the Jetsons. I think there are some things that are they were onto something that are now true.
Yeah, I only like the convenience. I don't like a lot of all that stuff, but
Okay.
I don't want to be in the kitchen.
Yeah. See, I don't mind the kitchen, but I have to admit, I'd really love the flying car thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Get there a little bit faster. Not much to hit up there.
Less traffic. Yeah. Better view.
Yeah. We'll see.
I like that.
I'm not sure I'd get into one, but I like the concept. All right. On your phone, you can only have 3 apps for the rest of your life. Which 3 do you keep?
I like the Yuka app right now
Uh-huh.
because it tells you all the things that don't even buy that product. I do like that. I probably would do the weather app because for some reason, I just like to know what's the weather going to be this week. I sound old right now, but I like the weather. And there's no chaos really, except for maybe a storm. And faith is really important to me. It's probably just a faith app of some kind. Just if I don't have a book. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
You're going to be busy for a while.
Yeah. Well,
if you could create a new holiday, what would we celebrate?
oh my gosh, these are really unique questions. What would we celebrate? Okay, well, I'm going to steal this. I'm going to steal this from friends of mine. It's not even mine, But when I married my husband, you marry the family, right? His sister is really creative. But somewhere in that group of friends, they created what they call Larry Day.
Larry Day?
And it's called Larry Day. And Larry Day is when I hope I get this right, when the 13th falls on a Sunday, and we're in a group message and everybody goes, hey, happy Larry Day. And we used to, when we lived in Jersey, we'd all have to make food or something that was like Larry based. So you have like Larry Bird and you make the turkey, and it's just fun. They're silly people, and it's to celebrate the common man.
Oh, that's so interesting.
And
isn't that such a thing where Larry actually existed, or it's a totally made up holiday anyway from the family?
I don't know, but it's made up for, I don't know. I never heard of it before then. I never heard of it after. And so I just think we need to do more celebrating of each other. And so it's like one of those just like, oh yeah, it is Sunday the 13th. So happy Larry Day.
I love this. So when does the 13th fall on a Sunday in 2026 or we're in 2025 now, but
well, we just had, or it's on a Friday. It might be on a Friday. Sorry, not a
Friday.
Sunday. It's a Friday.
So
we just had it.
But it's Friday no, wait a minute. Friday the
When was the 13th? Tell me if it's.
I thought it's 13th on a Sunday.
Well, hang on. Maybe I'm getting the day wrong. The 13th or the Saturday. We literally just had it this month. So whatever day that is.
Okay. Because I think I want to start celebrating with you.
Okay, then I'm going to send you a text to say happy Larry Day the next time it comes.
I totally want to be in on that. I think that's awesome.
That's me celebrating you because I appreciate you and you're unique and there's not another one of you around. So
I want to celebrate you too. And I think out of all the times I've asked this question, that is my favorite answer.
Awesome. Well, they're unique people. They're unique, silly people. So I have to give them credit.
Happy Larry Day. We're going to make sure, I think we got to schedule a podcast too on Larry Day to celebrate Larry.
Yeah, let's do it.
We need to make an addendum to the podcast. Clearly, chemo brain. Did you have chemo, Dana? Did you go through?
No, but menopause.
Menopause. Oh, so clearly menopause brain is real.
Absolutely.
Because Larry Day is the 14th on the Sunday. So for those of you out there listening to this podcast, you're celebrating on the 13th. That's great. But now you have your own holiday, and Dana and I have,
yes.
I just joined your family, Dana. We have our family holiday on the 14th, which is Larry Day. So maybe we can celebrate both.
Then we have a whole weekend. Because if it's like the 13th and the 14th, maybe we should go by the dates.
Nice.
And we could just take the whole weekend.
I think it's a Larry weekend.
I think let's do that. That makes it our own. It's just me and you.
Happy Larry weekend, everybody.
And then we can start adding new people to it. And we have Happy Larry Day weekend. I mean, if you have Memorial Day weekend, Labor Day weekend, we can do Larry Day weekend.
Larry Day weekends. Larry Day weekend. Is this a by invite only, or are we going to welcome just, anybody?
Well, I think people want to join in, might have the same mindset as we do. And so they have to be like, we're celebrating each other, right? And we're also celebrating ourselves.
Okay. So when you get done taking a moment celebrating yourself, Larry weekend is all about us.
That's right. It's all about us.
All right, Dana, last question.
Yeah.
And I think I know what your answer is going to be, but I'll let you do it because you alluded to this. If there's one word that's your favorite word that resonates with you, what would that word be? I have some favorites, but I would say broken. And I say that because it's a gift. And people, if you look around, it's just crazy people running all around trying to survive the brokenness. And it's like, if you just let yourself break, it actually is a beautiful gift because you actually get over yourself. It's a gift. Oh my God. That's so great. I think on the back of one of my positively altered hats, I'm going to put broken on the other side. I love it.
There you go.
I love it. Dana, you are such a light. Thank you for sharing pieces of your story with us.
Thanks.
Tell us about your company, your organization, where you're speaking, all of the books, where do we get them? How do we follow you, find you, love you, and learn more from you?
Well, all my books you could find on Amazon, like everybody else, are on Amazon. I have two websites that I'll tell you, just because I do run a business with my husband. It's called the Lyons Group. We help family businesses because our heart is to help restore family and help them keep what matters most, the most important. So that's thelyonsgroup.com. And then the other one is called Grit and Grace Enterprises. To me, it's about, I am a champion of people. I love to just celebrate people. And you can find that at gritandgraceenterprises.com. You can find some of my books there. I am a publishing agency. I am the podcast will kick off soon, which I would love to have you on my podcast, all about this book. Because I just think you could take a bad thing and make it a really positive thing. and you are a woman who wears many hats, I just would love to celebrate you, because I think people need to be inspired by your story as well. So it's really for women by women. So you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Grit and Grace Enterprises. So
I absolutely love this, and it would be my honor to reciprocate and be a guest. For those of you that want to learn more about what's going on in my world, please check us out at drcindyspeaks.com or shoot us an email at hello@drcindyspeaks.com. We would love to hear from you. The book, Positively Altered, Finding Happiness at the Bottom of a Chemo Bag, can be found on Amazon or wherever you enjoy purchasing your books. And soon you're going to hear me on Dana Lyons' podcast. So you're going to have to follow this in order to check out that conversation. I'm going to leave everybody today with the idea of, I think you should take a moment and celebrate yourself. I hope that this conversation with Dana has left you positively altered.